In February 2017, we flew from Greece to Morocco, where we had 2 months of backpacking and volunteering around the country. Our first destination was Fez, and we checked into an amazing riad covered in mosaic. It was one of the fanciest places we've ever stayed. We ended up spending a week in Fez as we loved getting lost in all the alleys. It was a really authentic city, lots of culture, smiley locals, and just a fun place to be. When it was time to leave, we headed north to Chefchaoun, the famous Blue Pearl City. Every building, door, window, you name it, is painted blue. Every single shade of blue. It's one of the most beautiful towns we've ever visited. When we weren't strolling around the blue alleys, we'd go hiking in the Rift Mountains where there was some amazing views, even if it was a bit cloudy when we did our hike. We're not big city fans, but we decided to visit Casablanca to see some old family friends of mine who took us some amazing sights, including this huge mosque. First volunteering position in Morocco was in a small Berber cultural centre set in a tiny village in the Anti-Atlas Mountains. We were taught how to make Morocco's staple meal, tagine and bread.
Yeah. Oh, this is it? Oh, okay. I thought we had to flip it.
Good job, Lauren.
Oh.
Good job. Oh no, the flip.
Yeah? Not very good.
We went on some lovely hikes in the area, although one involved rescuing some sheep who fell into the local irrigation system. Our second volunteering position was in the Sahara Desert, and we ended up spending 2 weeks there, so I have a lot of footage which I will add in a separate video. Our next stop was Skoura, where we stayed a couple days, rented a bike and cycled through all the palmeries and kasbahs.
Wasn't it this side of the river?
The centre of Morocco is home to some incredible gorges with red rock scenery like the deserts of Utah in America. We spent some time hiking around Todra Gorge and Jadida Gorge, both are beautiful and worth a visit. We took a detour to the coast to spend some time in Mirleft and Sidi Ifni, home to some amazing red rock scenery including some impressive arches right by the sea. We then headed to Tafra'out, a small Berber village famous for its babouche shoes and weekly market. It also has plenty of hiking on its doorstep. Our next stop was Banana Beach, where we tried out some surfing and spent a day in Paradise Valley, jumping in the freshwater pools. As soon as we arrived in Essaouira, we were surrounded by seagulls. It's a famous town for its fishing and a beautiful place to wander around. Now that the winter snow was starting to melt, we headed to the Atlas Mountains, where we based ourselves in Imlil. We checked into a tiny hotel with just 3 rooms, but the view from the balcony was one of the best we've ever had. It was the perfect base before and after our hike up Jebel Toubkal, the highest mountain in North Africa. A lot of people hire a guide to take them up the mountain, but seeing as it was such a well-trodden route, we decided to do it on our own. The only problem was we hadn't used an ice axe before, so it was fortunate when we bumped into 2 English guides who told us how to use it should we slip on the ice, and it would prevent us from basically falling down the mountain. On day 1 we hiked up to the Refugio, where we booked a couple of bunk beds for the night. The following day we woke up before the sun had risen, as we had a hell of a long hike heading up the summit and all the way back to Imlil. It was definitely one of the toughest hikes we've ever done. We had to wear crampons and take an ice axe with us for safety. We finally made it back to Imlil and our legs could barely move, so we spent a couple days relaxing before we headed to our final destination, Marrakesh. To be honest, we didn't like Marrakesh at all. We found the people really rude, and it was a bit of a sad end to the country as we loved everywhere else and the people were so friendly. But we'd still love to return to Morocco in the future. We had an amazing 2 months backpacking the country.